Hello and welcome to Here's to Your Health. I'm your host, Veggie Patty, and it is my pleasure to bring you information on healthy living. On today's episode, we will be talking about detoxing. The detoxing we're going to talk about today is actually the natural process that our body goes through to clear essentially garbage out of the body. This is not the detoxing we're talking about, drug detox. This is, again, the body's natural method of clearing out things from the body that doesn't need toxins and everything. And we're going to talk a little bit about why you would need to detox, how it actually works, and then we're going to talk about some adjunct therapies that you can do either at home or some simple therapies that you can do with some specialists. So I'd like to introduce you first of all to my two guests today. This is Alicia Arp, and she is an ionic cleanse specialist. So welcome to the show, Alicia.
Thank you.
And this is Sherry Klippert-DeVogel, and she is a holistic health specialist. So welcome to the show, Sherry.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks. So, Sherry, I'm going to start with you, actually. Sherry, you are, like I said, a holistic health specialist. You have a bachelor's in science, a master's in education, and a graduate specialist degree in holistic health. So can you talk a little bit about your background and why you became interested in this field?
Well, I think those credentials are really important, and in working with integrative therapies, it's good to know somebody's credentials, but I think a lot has to do with experience and all the different kinds of illnesses that I've encountered over the 20 plus years I've been in integrative health. And the reason, going back to your question about how I got into this, is because I started encountering some problems that nobody seemed to be able to fix. And so it was through elimination diet that I started, and then added on some adjunct therapies that helped me to detox my body and get me back into a truly healthful living.
Great. So can you explain to the audience, first of all, what is detoxification, or detox as we call it?
I think it would be a good start to explain some of the things I was experiencing, because it was environmental in nature. And I would, this was over 20 some years ago, I would eat something, drink something, and suddenly my eyes would just double over. And I mean, it was hideous. And any woman can tell you they don't like those kinds of things to happen to them. And then your skin cracks, and this was going on and on. I went to regular family practitioner, I went to dermatologist, I went to an allergist, and nobody could figure out what it was. So I started reading on my own, and I determined that I was allergic to bisulfites. Now, bisulfites are something that are commonly in so many foods, and it's causing lots of skin disorders and a lot of internal disease. And so the way I started to eliminate these from my diet was to start ingredient reading. I read everything that I ate, so if there was any bisulfite in it, then I eliminated it from my diet. And then I went on to do other adjunct therapies to help that. But in the end, I did go through food, through the adjunct therapies. I eliminated, and I'm not kidding, it was like poison ran out of my body. It was not pretty, but it did get those toxins out of my body.
Okay, so can you talk about then, so detoxing, and like I had said, is basically it's the body's way of expelling toxins or anything that doesn't really belong in the body. It's our body's way of expelling that. Mm-hmm. And we have different organs in the body that try to do that job. And unfortunately, sometimes when, like with your story, something is happening to you, sometimes our elimination organs aren't working correctly. And so we have to help them along. So can you go over what some of the organs in the body are that are involved in detoxification?
Okay, the major 4 organs of elimination are your skin, your kidneys, your bowels, and your lungs. So there are ways that you can naturally at home eliminate these toxins. One way is through sweating. Sweating is a great way to detoxify the body, and you can do that through exercise and through saunas, sweat boxes they have, sauna boxes, infrared sauna boxes. They have those that you can purchase and have at home. But another really great way to detoxify through the skin is using skin brushes. You always brush towards your heart, and you brush your entire body. I just start with my arms, and you always, like I said, brush towards your heart, and you can put your foot up on something in the bathroom, and always brushing towards your heart. This is great for the lymphatic system, and we could talk a little bit about that if you would like. But it helps to detox. Wherever there is a blood capillary or a blood vessel in the body, there's a lymph capillary. Blood vessels bring the groceries to the body. The heart pumps it, and it takes it to the body. So we have to have some form to take the garbage out of the body, and that's the role of the lymphatic system. And the lymphatic system, the older we get, the sicker we are, the more sedentary we are, the less we move around. That is the only thing. The lymph doesn't have a pump the way the heart pumps the food, the oxygen, to the rest of the body. So just using the skin brush, and even just bouncing in a chair. If you're dealing with somebody who's very ill, you can just basically bounce like this, and this will help to move the lymphatic system in the body.
Right, and that's a really important point about the lymph system, is that a lot of people, first of all, people hear lymph nodes, they hear, about when lymph nodes get swollen, that's what they know, that's what doctors check, is if lymph nodes are swollen, but they don't really understand what the lymph system does. And the lymph system is basically our garbage disposal or garbage removal system of the body. And like you said, the circulatory system has a pump. It's the heart. That's what moves the blood through our bodies. The lymph system doesn't have that. So if you become inactive, you basically just sent all of your garbage trucks on strike.
That's correct. Very good analogy.
So that's why the lymph system is really important to detoxing the body, removing those toxins, removing the garbage out of the body. And so if you're not able to move because of illness, there are little things that you can do, like the skin brushing, that will actually help to stimulate the lymph system. Like you said, some simple movements, like you had suggested, bouncing. Some people, if they can stand, they bounce in place. They have the
little rebounders.
Yeah, the little rebounders, which are mini trampolines, if you've seen them. People just bounce on those, and that's just to get the lymph system moving, and that's why people do that. So the lymph system is a really important system in the body to help expel these toxins. There's also one of the adjunct therapies, and adjunct therapies, all those are just like additional therapies that you can do for your body. One of those for the lymph would be lymphatic drainage or lymphatic massage.
Correct.
And can you explain a little bit about what that is?
Well, you can do it manually, or you can do, there's instruments, lymphatic instruments, that use little gaseous photons and electrical pulses, and you go through the entire body, especially in the upper part, in the upper left-hand quadrant. 75% of our lymph drains in the upper left quadrant of the body. And with breast disease and cancers out there, it's really important to take a look at lymphatic drainage in any way, shape, or form that you feel comfortable with.
Right. So we talked a little bit about the skin, and I know there's the other organs of elimination, but I wanted Alicia to talk a little bit about the ionic foot detox that you do, because it actually is removing things through the skin, through the feet, and it's pulling from obviously other organs. But I'm going to let you explain it because I don't know the science behind it. Correct. So this is Alicia again, and Alicia, you have a bachelor's in science with a minor in nutrition. Correct. And you are an ionic or ion foot detox specialist.
Ion cleanse specialist, which is normally also called foot detox. And what that does is, our feet are the most porous part of our body. We have over 2,000 pores in our feet, each foot at least, and that's ideal to detox. So when you put your feet into water, I add salt, which helps with the conductivity of the water, and a little thing called an array that has metals, so it puts positive and negative charges into the water. This helps. Your toxins also have a charge to them. So when this current is in the water, it goes through your feet, the charge goes up through your body, through the meridians, and neutralizes with the toxins, and it pulls back through your body, through the meridians, into the water. And in the water, it shows certain colors come out, and it tells where you're being detoxed from. It could be from your liver, it could be from your purifying of the joints, the lymphatic system. Your whole body is being detoxed, but through applied kinesiology, they came up with a color chart to tell you what part of the body you're being detoxed from. So in the water, when certain colors come out, I can explain what part of the body is being detoxed. And so it's really neat to see the water change colors at that time.
Okay, so now I'm going to ask a question that you might find is a little dumb, but some people are wondering, well, you're mentioning to put your feet in water that's charged with electric current. Aren't I going to be electrocuted?
You will not. It is very small. It's a small current that is, and actually what happens, it magnetizes the water in a way. So it's done through osmosis and diffusion, and so the hydrogen and oxygen is broken up, just like as if you were by a waterfall or whatnot, or walking on the beach, just that same therapy.
Okay, and then who would this type of therapy be useful for?
Anybody it's useful for, just for wellness, well-being, but people who have certain issues such as gout or inflammation, inactive bacteria or viruses, it just helps with a whole bunch of different inflammation is a big thing. It gives instant relief to a lot of people. 95% of the people sleep very well the night of, have more energy the following day. So that's one of the big things that is very useful for.
Okay, great. And how long does an appointment take?
The session is 30 minutes. It usually takes roughly about 45 minutes to get everything up and going, and then to explain things and talk. So about 45 minutes, but session alone is 30 minutes.
Okay, and then this is something that you know, it's specialized equipment that you do use, and so the equipment itself is probably unaffordable to some people to have in their home to do this on their own, which is why they would come into a place of business. And you are over at Total Health Foods, and that's where you do these. So thank you for sharing that information with us. So Sherry, I'm going to go back to you. We had talked about the skin as one of the organs of elimination. Can you talk a little bit about the kidneys?
Okay, the kidneys is a very good thing to use for cleansing the kidneys is chlorophyll. And chlorophyll is what comes from wheatgrass, but you can buy concentrated forms of chlorophyll. Personally, I take a glass of chlorophyll, and like a little juice glass of water, and put some chlorophyll, and take that every night before I go to bed.
Okay, and so the kidneys, like I said, are another organ of elimination. And you had mentioned chlorophyll, and that can be found in any green foods. And one of the things everybody knows that I promote green smoothies and you know, green juices, and that's one of the reasons why, because they are very detoxifying. They also alkalize the body. The bodies tend to be, when your bodies are toxic, they tend to be acidic, and an acid body can lead to disease. It also can lead to a lot of pain, joint inflammation, things like that. By looking at foods and food therapy, and in this case greens and green drinks, or like I said, chlorophyll, you can take it just as a liquid that you add to your water, you can take tablets. You can actually help your body to become more alkaline, which then will help you detox and remove a lot of the pain, the joint pain. And that's the same effect that you would get like if you're doing a foot detox. A lot of people, when they're doing wheatgrass, they might do it like, you know, 1 shot a day. If people are doing green smoothies on a daily basis, if they're taking chlorophyll, anything with the food therapies, anything that's green will help them as well. And especially people that have joint issues. Personally, I can tell you, because I've told everybody before, I do have a genetic joint disorder. If I'm not eating my greens or taking green food, then my joint pain actually flares up a lot. And from personal experience, I can tell you that it actually really does help to remove some of those excess toxins out of my joints and to help reduce the pain.
And unfortunately, you can be going along just fine. Everything just seems just fine. But there's a lot of toxins that lie dormant in our bodies. And once you reach that threshold where you can't take any more into your body will respond in some way. And we think of detoxing to help us so that we never reach that threshold, so we have to deal with some illness that we don't want to deal with, and or to just really be healthy, because just not being sick doesn't mean being healthy.
Right. And this is, like I said, this is a natural cycle for the body. Every day our body is being bombarded with toxins, whether they are from the external environment, from the air that we breathe, wherever we're living, what's inside our home when we walk outside, if there's factories out there, you can just think about all the external toxins that are out there, to internal toxins, the food that we put in our bodies. If you're putting in junk food, it's creating toxins. Stress creates an inordinate amount of toxins in the body, and people don't realize that. So every day our body is doing the best it can to actually go through this process to take those toxins and detoxify. That's what detoxifying is all about, is to remove these toxins out of the body so that you can try to stay in this, in a relatively good state of health. It doesn't mean that you're in the optimal state of health, but it's trying to keep you away from disease. That's the whole point of the body detoxifying. And so one of the things with food too is the liver is an important organ as well, and you can eat foods that help to support the liver and the detoxification functions of the liver. So food is actually, people don't think of it as a therapy, but food is therapy. Food is medicine, and it can be a really good adjunct therapy if you're adding a couple things, to your diet, or if you don't quite want to change the way you're eating yet, you're not ready for that, you can add a few things to your diet, adding more fresh fruits and vegetables, adding, again, greens, anything that's dark leafy greens, chlorophyll, seaweed, algae, all those types of things are really great to add into your diet if you're not quite ready to make the full transition yet over to a healthier diet. So,
and two, I just advocate label reading. That's a very easy place to start in a new diet, a new lifestyle, because basically if you don't know what it is and you can't pronounce it, we kind of have to ask ourselves, why are we putting it in our body? Just because it tastes good. Because along the line, down the road, that could be the thing that will make you sick. And so that's a simple thing that each and every one of us can do every day, is just pick up whatever we're going to eat and take a look at the label and read the ingredients. Right. And the first 3 or 4 ingredients are what is mainly in the food product that you're going to be consuming.
Right. And actually one of the easiest changes people can make as far as diet is concerned is just to add more water to their diet. Just to drink more water. If you're drinking more water, you hopefully stop drinking less pop and things like that. But the water helps to cleanse through the body. Now you had also mentioned lungs, and we had talked a little bit about the lungs. Obviously, you're inhaling external toxins, but we have all these lovely salt lamps sitting here. These actually help to cleanse the air. Alicia, could you actually talk about what these lamps are and how they work?
It's Himalayan salt, and what it does is actually it detoxes the air and cleanses the air. And also, if you have it in a room where there's a lot of electronics, it balances out that room with
the EMFs.
Yes, absolutely. And you don't necessarily have to have the light on for it to work. It works on its own. The light is for a good calming effect. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and so these are, and a lot of people, they're not sure. I've heard a lot of people have asked, do these work, do they not work? It's one of those things that you have to try it for yourself. I can tell you from personal experience that it's helped me, my friends that have it. I have some friends that have asthma that have put these by their beds, and they've used their inhaler less since having these. So it's an ionic exchange is what it's creating, is it's creating ions in the air to help cleanse the air so that as you're breathing it in, you're not breathing in all of those toxins. So that's another adjunct therapy where are you of the mindset where you just like to plug something in and forget about it, then that might be a good option for you. So Sherry, you had mentioned one of the other organs, so let's review all the organs again, and you had talked about the intestine and colon system. I'll have you talk about that, but can you just go over briefly again what are the organs of elimination?
We have the lungs, the skin, the kidneys, and the last organ of elimination we're going to talk about, because nobody ever wants to talk about it, so I'm going to give you the scoop on poop.
All right.
And the fastest way, truly, to detoxify the body is a process called colon hydrotherapy. And we offer a system called Colons, which is a very spa-like, very therapeutic, non-invasive way of cleansing the colon. It's I've been doing this for over 20 years, and I can promise you that it is the fastest way to eliminate toxins out of the body and feel better immediately. There's immediate, we're all into immediate gratification, and you do get immediate gratification from one session. Optimally, it's best to really thoroughly clean the colon. And I don't know if I'm speaking with an audience that might be a little older. You may have had a grandmother that used to always say to you if you got sick, you know, when was the last time you went to the bathroom? Because really this is a big problem in our society. We're trained to be in classrooms and the whole class has to go to the bathroom. It's really a problem for people, and because I deal with it enough, I know that it's very, very common, emotionally related a lot of times, but constipation in our society is a problem, and it's very common, and it's something that we can work with and start the process of the detoxification program that you would like, using all the different modalities. But it is like a daily program. It's something that you want to include: the deep breathing, the skin brushing, the good eating, the foot detoxing. These are all good things to help you feel much better.
Great. Well, thank you very much. Are there any parting words that you'd like to leave the audience? Like, what is, let me ask you this, what is one tip that you would give the audience, the best thing that you think they could do to help their bodies detox?
Lots of water. Always lots of water.
Okay.
I do want to say that for the foot detox, it is very good to drink a lot of water before and definitely after, but there are some people that are not able to do the foot detox, and that is people that have a pacemaker, people that are on blood pressure medicine. It is the doctor should be asked first. People who are on psychotic or any kind of medication that may put them back into a different state,
Okay.
I don't recommend. And anyone who is on medicine or anything else, take 4 hours before. And anybody that is pregnant and breastfeeding should not do foot detox.
Okay, great. And so, and again, you brought up the water point, which is really great. Sherry, what is one tip that you have for the audience?
One tip I would have for the audience is to exercise. Exercise is so important, and with exercise, like I said earlier about detoxing the body with sweating, that's a natural detoxifier. If you need to do the kind of exercise, not just a little walk around the park, but one that really gets your respiration up, gets you sweating a little bit, gets you breathing a little bit deeper, and helps you to release the endorphins that will put you in a better mood. For people who suffer with depression, it's amazing what it can do for you, and I encourage people to start adding that in their daily lives as soon as possible. It'll make you feel better.
Great. And so there you have it. There's 3 tips for you. Drink more water, exercise, and get more greens into your diet, no matter which way you want to do it, through liquid method, or you can eat them too. So I wanted to thank Alicia and Sherry for being on the show today.
Thank you very much.
I really appreciate you guys coming on and sharing your information with the audience. It's a topic that not many people want to talk about, but it's something that's necessary to help keep us disease-free and out of the area of illness where nobody wants to be. So it's about that time where we close the show, so I wanted to just remind everybody that for additional healthy living tips and tricks, you can visit my website. And remember that no matter the cards you were dealt or your current state of health, you have the power to take charge of your health. So never give up and never stop learning. The solution you seek may be just around the corner. I'd ask for you two to join me in a toast to the viewers. We're getting some of our greens in for today. This is cucumber juice. So we wish you a wonderful today and an even better tomorrow. Here's to your health.
That's good.
Thank you.